And guess what? I applied to that school, and next thing I did not hear back again. They now say something about they're no more taking Nigerian students. Today's video is going to be about the application process and application for school and application for visa if you are coming from Nigeria to Canada. And I will try my best to go into as much detail as possible, but disclaimer in advance is that everybody's process is different. So my sister has also traveled. She traveled before me, but my process was different from her process. Our process was different from some of our friends' process and some other family members' process. Like, it differs. Even though you are doing the same course, a lot of things are different. Your documentations will probably be different. Like the documents you're submitting and the one someone else is submitting, your parents will be different, things like that. So as much as I would explain some things, there are some aspects of it that may not be the exact same for you. And so because your line doesn't go like this, if you go this way instead, like you have to make a right turn, left turn, and eventually arrive at a destination, it's still okay. It's still okay. I'm saying this before I start explaining so that it doesn't seem like if you've started your process and it's not going in that order, or it's not going according to the timeline you set for yourself, you don't begin to feel discouraged or feel like you're making a mistake in life or you're doing all the wrong things. Sometimes it's just the nature of life playing out in very different ways. Now, this intro is getting too long. Let's get into the process of traveling. So if you want to travel, for me, I came through school. So I'm a student. I'm in school right now. I don't have class today. That's why I can't sit down and record this video. All right. So I came as a student. So what I know, the knowledge I have is if you want to come as a student. So if you're not coming as a student, I don't think this video will be very helpful for you, because I don't know how to explain the process for those that want to come with PR, like permanent residents. And the country I can explain well enough, at least to the best of my knowledge, is Canada. For UK, I don't know. I'm also doing this video because I plan to do it, but aside that, somebody also, not just, I think like I can count 2 or 3 people now that have asked me, like people that know me, that have asked me questions about this after I posted that I traveled. So I believe that it is going to be very helpful. So first things first is if you want to travel and you want to come as an international student to Canada, Canada is a big place. There are many provinces, there are many options for you, there are many schools for you. So there's an avalanche of information. Like, people will just tell you, oh, just Google. I know when I wanted to travel, where do I even begin from? Like, I know I spoke to somebody, and not just somebody, but like a family friend's friend, an extended family member's friend, and she wasn't very helpful because I was trying to ask questions about the course I wanted to do, which is not the course I'm doing now. There's another course I wanted to do, social media management, something. And I had questions and I was asking her, and she wasn't really, we're supposed to hop on a call and have a conversation, but she wasn't open to the call, and we eventually had to chat, and I was okay with that, but she wasn't really responsive. It was more like either she didn't know, or she didn't want to say, or I don't know, maybe because we're not close enough, she just felt, I beg, this girl should shift. And I also know that, like, even with my sister and with a friend of mine, they had the same similar experience. So people that have already traveled before you, you're asking them questions, they are trying to make inquiries about the school you want to go to, or the course you want to do, or the province you want to go to, and they're not really forthcoming, or they're not answering you. Some will even air you totally, like they will snub you, they will not answer. Some will answer, but they just give like half sentences, like they don't really want to say much. It was really somehow, she didn't want to say much. She was just telling, she told me that any school is good, any course is good. I'm like, that's unusual though. And she said, okay, thank you, as per being polite. And guess what? I applied to that school, and next thing, I did not hear back again. They now said something about they're no more taking Nigerian students. I don't even know till tomorrow if it was a scam or what, but the application money went. No word from them, nothing. Tried to reach them, tried to call them. There's so much to read when you check online, if I'm being honest, so it can get confusing. That was how, because she did not say much, she did not want to give helpful advice, or she could not say anything to me that was helpful. That's how the money for that application for that school went. So when you want to come, one of the first things to do is to decide. I would say it's not in an order of you must do this one before you do this one. So you can either decide the country. Okay, let's even bring it out to Canada. So if it's Canada, you can decide the province you want to come to first, or the course you want to do first. So if you decide the province, what I would advise is that you now check this province, what courses are like in high demand, so that you know that there is prospect for getting a job and working, long-term effects, except you just want to come for school and go back home, which is fine. So you can check that, or you check or you have a course in mind already that you want to study. So you now check that course, like what provinces or what province, top province that needs this course the most. I hope that makes sense. So one of the two, either check the province you want to go or the course you want to do where it is needed the most, so that you don't go to one province and then you're looking for how to move to another province, because it can get complicated. So one of these province first, checking for province first in Canada that you want to come to, or the course you want to do first. For me, what I did was to, because before Canada, I had considered UK, I had considered Germany, I had considered Norway. Where else did I consider? I was even joking with my friend that I considered Russia. But let me know, like, I looked into Russia a bit, but thank God I'm shy here now. So options. So all this is so that you can gradually be streamlining your choices, right? So the country, Canada, province, think of it, check for a province that if you already have a course, they need that field, like that line of work or that career is needed in that province, it's in high demand. Or you check just different provinces and see options of what they need the most, kind of jobs that are in high demand, right? And then you move from there. So once you're able to get this one, because me, what I checked when I knew okay I wanted to come to Canada was all the provinces, I'm sorry, and then I checked the courses for each province, and I saw that project management was one of the courses that was like almost every province they need project managers, right? Even in Nigeria they need project managers. So I was like, okay. And then I had done a course, so I did mass communication as my first degree, but in my school, I went to Captcut University, we used to have some computer courses compulsory I think it was every semester or every year. And then one of the courses I did was project management. I know I also did CRM, that's customer relationship management, but project management really stood out for me because it just seemed like a very useful course. So when I now saw project management here, so I now went on Google and started an online course in project management, just to refresh my mind and see if this is something I can do like long term or as a career itself, like adding it to my skills as a business owner. So that's how I decided, okay, project management is a good fit. And then the next thing I was now checking was, okay, which province? And then I know one of the things I considered was I don't want to be in the coldest province. I don't want to be in the coldest province. I don't want to be in a province where they mostly speak French, because I didn't know French. I didn't know French. And like, I mean, it's something you can learn, because my sister started learning French some months before she traveled, and I don't know if she speaks French now. She'll be in my comment section, but I wasn't really interested in French. So those two things were on my list. Like, I don't want a province where they speak mostly French, because how will I survive? And then I don't want the coldest province. So after so much back and forth and checking, of course, with fees and the budgets we were working with, I eventually settled for Toronto, Ontario. And that's where I'm currently. So that's another thing. So once you've chosen a course, you can have two options for courses, by the way. Once you've chosen a course and then a province, then you've streamlined your options. So you're not just opening your computer, opening your phone, and opening your browser rather, and checking schools in Canada, universities or colleges. Like, you have lesser things or lesser information, or like a smaller amount of data to go through and to analyze and to decide on something. So now in that province you've chosen, you will now be checking for schools. So what's your budget for school? So that's what you have to check and decide which school that you want to go to. So there are two options in terms of postgraduate. There's university, which is for master's degree, and then there are also colleges. Colleges are cheaper most times, but some people say it doesn't really, like, there's not much difference. For me, I still think colleges are cheaper, and depending on the course, it's more practical to go to a college, because master's degree is a big deal, right? Even like a postgraduate diploma, a postgraduate certificate course is also a big deal, because you'll be reading a lot and doing a lot of practice, and some courses have co-op, all of that. But that's your choice. The two, based on your budget, what you are seeing as options. When you're checking for schools, check prices of colleges, tuition fees in colleges, and check universities. Then make your choice based on your budget, right? Based on your budget. And yeah, mostly based on your budget, and also based on the course that you are doing. So check for schools that are good in that course. That's another thing. And please, when you're checking for schools, make sure that your school is a DLI, like it has a designated learning institute, as per it has building, it has where you go and learn. And also, if you want to stay back, or if you plan to stay back, make sure your course and the school has postgraduate work permits. I think that's what they call it. Like after your studies, you can work legally, right? Legally. Please, we do legal things here. Postgraduate work permits. Yeah, and if you know people that already traveled, you can ask them about that school, what they think about the school and the course. It's not usually cute when you're one of the first people to do a course in that school, because they are still using you to test different things. It's nice when they already have some experience and you're coming in to just enjoy the experience that they've gathered over the years, right? And then once you've chosen province, you've chosen school, you've chosen course, next thing is now to apply for admission. So school applications. So I would advise that you don't apply to only one school. Not because I'm praying that they don't pick you, but just have your options open. If you can have 3 or at least 2 schools that you apply to, that would be nice. It's also good so that you get to choose. So if both of them give you admission, you get to choose which one you prefer. If 1 out of 2 gives you admission, I mean, you will not be left stranded, because for Canada, sorry, most schools you pay application fees ranging from like, I think like $100, some of them $90. That's CAD and above. I'm saying this based on because I applied 2021 2021/2022. So it might not be the same, it might have increased by now, but just have it in mind, like nothing less than 100, 150, 200 CAD thereabouts for application fees alone. So do the conversion to Naira. That's already some money, right? I mean, it's still small compared to what you're going to spend ahead, but yeah, that's why like if you have the money, apply to more, maybe 4 or 5. But if your budget is slim for application fees, you can do 2 or 3 schools. And then also try to apply early. So if they say application begins in January, for your course that is resuming in September, please, if you can apply January and February, don't waste your time. Like, don't be crawling about it, be quick about it, because most times, like, it's not just about your application being good. If your application is in the pool with like 3,000 other applications and you not like you're not one of the first few to apply, it might be, different things will be involved. So as much as possible, try to apply early, and then 2, 3 schools. If you have more money, 4, 5 schools, so that you can have options. And then what else? I know one of the things that people try to run away from is like writing personal statements. So if you're going to a university, and some colleges as well also ask for it, like your personal statement, like why do you want to study this course and why do you want to study it here with us. So people try to run away from it, and I know people also help. Like, there are people that write it professionally for you. You pay them, they write your statement for you, and you get it back. And I'm not here to say, oh, don't pay anybody to write it for you, or you must write it for yourself. But just hear me out. What I think is that if you're coming here as a student, if you don't write that personal statement, when you resume school, like after this video now, I have assignments I want to go and do, I have things I need to go and read. When you resume school, you would resume schoolwork nonetheless, right? Even if you don't write that personal statement, you will still come and resume schoolwork by yourself. Plagiarism is a bigger deal here than in Nigeria, right? So why don't you start preparing yourself, like your mind, if you've been out of school for some time or you graduated from your first degree years ago, why don't you start, like, use this statement, writing it by yourself, as a means to start preparing yourself to go back to school, to prepare your brain and prepare your mind to just resume education and learning in like a school once again. And that's what I feel though. If you still want to give somebody to write for you, all well and good, but I just feel it's a means to start preparing your mind. That's how I look at it, or that's how I choose to look at it. And anybody that asks me personally whether or not I know you as a friend or not a friend, that's what I'll tell you. If you can, write it by yourself. But if you still feel like English is such a daunting task for you and you rather have somebody else write for you, by all means. But that's also another money to be spent, right? And then if the person writes it for you, you don't now get it. Somewhere in your mind, you now be thinking it's because the person wrote it, and maybe the person wrote rubbish, or the person, or you would have written better, but you did not write, so you don't know now. So I just feel if you can, write your personal statement by yourself. If you're not so great with English, or you feel that your English needs a lot of improvement, write the first draft. Give somebody to edit it for you, your family member, your friends. You know your friends that know how to speak English better than you. Give them to read it, proofread it, edit it, make corrections. Be open to those corrections. That's why you should start your application early, so that you're not application or registration. No, not registration. Application is not closing in 2 weeks, and you're just starting your statements. It will be quite frustrating, right? So if you can, write your personal statement by yourself, and I feel like that would be a good start. Your brain is getting ready to jump back into schoolwork and you're ready to go. And then after school application, the next thing is, we pray that you get admission or admissions to multiple schools so that you make a choice. And then the next thing is visa application. So for visa application, so school application I did by myself. For my school, it was quite straightforward, because what we needed to do was to, for international students, you send a mail, and in a mail, after the mail, like them replying you, is to confirm they've received your email, and then to ask for all the relevant documents. And you just continue, like the flow of information just continues in that mail, the same mail thread, until like you've gotten your admission, all of that. So we did not need to, us international students did not need to open to register into a portal, or like do the whole username password by ourselves. There was a third party involved in doing all of that process for international students. I think the payment was part of our school fees as well for international students. And then once you get admission and it's closer to when you're resuming, they'll give you your login details, then you're free to change your password. But for many other schools, like my sister's school, she had to do the whole registration on the portal by herself to apply for school. And I feel like that might be your case, except you happen to come to my school or another school that does it the same way. And after that, the application process, and you've gotten your admission, the next thing is visa process. So my visa process, I had an agent do it for me, and that's because I don't have any experience at all with like applying for visa by myself, and we didn't want to take chances, because I mean, we're just like, why not if not? I know one of the things that delayed me then was the fact that my passport was about to expire and I needed to renew it before applying. What I did not know is that I could have applied, and then when I renew it, I'll just upload on the IRCC portal the new passport. So just in case you're in that situation, you don't need to wait till you renew your passport. You can apply with that passport, and then when you renew it, you upload it on the IRCC portal. And some of the documents she asked me to submit are like sponsor, because I'm not my sponsor. God, I'm my parents, I'm my sponsors. So sponsors bank statements, I think like 6 months back statements, and then just what they check for there is the amount to make sure they can sponsor you through school, your living expense. And then she also asked me to open a domiciliary account. That was like where we put the money for my living expense. And then what else? A couple of documents: passport, transcript from my first degree. She also asked me for CV, if you've traveled before, your visa stamps, if you've ever been convicted of crime, if you've ever been deported, if you've ever overstayed your welcome in a country that you traveled to, visited, or whatsoever the case may be. Father, mother's marriage certificate. Then you need also, in your application, you also need like strong ties to your country, your home country, where you're coming from. That's like pictures with friends, pictures with family. And you also would write a letter of introduction, basically stating who you are, where you're going, like the school you've gotten admission to. It's also advisable you pay, if possible, like you pay your first year fees. Because I know of somebody that was denied because tuition was not paid, and it was looking like, this money, do you really have it? Because the money can be in your account, but what if you're going to send it back to wherever you got it from after you get your visa, right? So things like that. After visa applications, you wait for some time. So for my visa application, I waited for some time, like how many months now? Let's say 4 or 5 months initially, but it was eventually extended to longer than that. After the visa process and getting your visa, if they don't give you the visa, they're supposed to tell you why. I think if they don't tell you why, you have the right to ask why, like, so that if you want to apply again, you know what the issue was and how to correct that issue, right? But I pray you do get it like one time, so that the stress is not so much. And for your application, you also need to do medicals. That's like to go to the hospital, and not just any hospital. You go to IOM. That's I think international, no, it's international IOM office. They're for medicals, for migration, when you want to travel, things like that. Yeah. And then your medicals, after your before you do biometrics. I'm so sorry. So for your visa application, once you apply, I think within 24 hours they would send you a mail asking something you're supposed to print out, documents you print out to go for your biometrics. In Abuja, it's in Gariki, close to there's one Sterling Bank VFS office. After your biometrics, please go for your medicals, do it upfront if you can. And what else? So you now wait. So that waiting time is when, like, you go just the wait. That's why sometimes when people don't tell you that like they're traveling, sometimes like that's not for close friends, or not for close friends, for like people that they're not really close with. It's not always because they don't want to share their process or things like that. So we'll rather share after, because that waiting time is like you're just praying, you're just saying, God, help me, and you're just believing for the best, and also trying to not focus on it so much and still live your life in the present, right? Not just waiting for life to happen or for the visa to come, because it's a 50-50 thing. Even people that have money have been rejected for visa. So whether you have money, you don't have money, it's still 50-50. So next thing that you should do is to book your flight and start looking for accommodation where you would stay, because flight prices are usually more expensive when you book closer to the day that you're traveling. So as much as possible, once you get your visa, please start checking flight prices, and as early as you can book it, right? Then preparing to travel, buying things you need to travel, looking for accommodation in the city that you're traveling to. What else? Yeah, basically preparing, buying food stuff, things like that. All those things you saw in my video, preparing to travel, all of that and even more. And then the actual trip, you traveling and then settling in. I know one of the things with settling in that I found quite frustrating is the fact that I came in winter, and then navigating the bus system in the winter is, for someone that is coming from where it was not very cold, like it was frustrating, and it's still frustrating, but at least it's better now, because now when I'm going out, mentally I'm already prepared that it's cold outside. Even as there's sun, it's cold outside. So yeah, these are like the step-by-step processes. It is not all the ins and very, 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 very detailed, like okay, which school, this and that, because I'm not an agent for any school, and even for my school, I don't know if I can recommend it because I'm still experiencing them. So let me not gonna recommend, and then something happens, you now say, officer, or this waters, please, I'm not an agent. I'm just helping you see like the processes. And for IRCC documents, I think you can also Google documents that you need, and yeah, that might be helpful to you. But if you don't want to take chances, you don't want to submit by yourself, you don't want to make mistake, because people use agents because they're supposed to be more experienced. But if you're going to use agents, just be careful. I beg you, just be careful, because some agents will show you shege that you've never seen before. So just be careful if you're going to use an agent. From the airport to getting to your place and logistics of all of that. It might seem like a lot at first, but over time you'll be fine. I'm sure you'll be fine. Thank you for watching this video. I'm really glad you've watched up to this point, and please make sure you like, subscribe, share with your friends and loved ones. That your friend has been telling you, I want to travel this year, I want to travel this year, but I don't know how to start, I don't know what to do. Send this video to them, let them use this one to start understanding what to do first and how to do it.